Did you guys know you could build a really nice streaming setup for just $1,000, including a PC? Welcome back to FTW Tech. I'm your host Isaiah, and today I'm going to be going over a $1,000 streaming setup for March 2021. So this includes PC parts and also it's a PC parts. It is also a monitor, a keyboard, mouse, headphones, a camera, a mic, and a boom arm. All for $1,000.77 is the current total of this setup, which is pretty crazy. Obviously that doesn't include tax. It may or may not include shipping. I think for some of the items it includes shipping, and for some it doesn't because they don't list the shipping. Or no, it would be free shipping for a lot of the other ones. All right, so it includes shipping but not tax. So it's pretty awesome. I chose not to include a desk or a chair because a lot of people already have those, as well as Windows 10. You can always just go on SCDkey and get a $10 one. That's the only website that's been verified to sell legit keys. And there's also another website that's owned by SCDkey, or they have the same owners. But anyways, let's get into the streaming setup. Oh, by the way, if you don't have a desk or a chair, a nice cheap desk would be an IKEA Girton tabletop with some trestles maybe, and a nice cheap chair, maybe the Staples Hyken, Staples Dexley. They're not super cheap, but you can get some used office chairs too. Make sure it's an ergonomic office chair, not a gaming chair, and do as I say, not as I do. I'm sitting in a gaming chair. I got this about a year ago before I knew so much about PCs, and downstairs I have an ergonomic mesh office chair. But I'm in my room right now, so I've got this chair. But let's get right into the setup. So for the CPU, I've chosen to go with the Intel Core i3-10100F. As we know, the market's just not great right now in terms of CPUs. Some prices are kind of inflated. The Ryzen CPUs, the Zen 3 ones, they are kind of in stock now, some of them. But they're a little bit too expensive for this particular setup. So the 10100F will serve you just fine. It's a quad-core 8-thread processor, and it comes with a stock cooler, and the stock cooler will be perfectly sufficient for this low TDP chip. So pretty great option there. We'll be using NVIDIA's NVENC encoder, so you won't need to do x264 encoding on the CPU, so you'll be good there. For the motherboard, the ASRock B460 Phantom Gaming 4 motherboard is pretty solid. It is B460, so you can't overclock the CPU, but the CPU itself is locked anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You definitely won't want to do upgrades with this motherboard. You won't want to upgrade your CPU and stay on this motherboard. Both the CPU and motherboard only support 2666 memory, but it is an ATX board for just $93. It has a bad VRM, but you don't need a good VRM for such a low TDP CPU, and as you can see, we'll be going with a low TDP GPU as well. So yeah, it's just a pretty standard board, as you can see here. Pretty much no heatsink. I mean, it's very, very basic. You can see it right here. Very, very basic board, but you don't really need anything crazy for this build. This is a budget build, as I mentioned. So for the RAM, believe it or not, this DDR4 3000 cast latency 15 kit is only $70 right now on Newegg, and that's really surprising. 2666 kits are actually, I found one for $75, and that was the cheapest 2666 kit. So you may as well just run this a little bit slower. You'll be getting the CL15 timing. That's pretty good. It's 16 gigs. It's a white RAM kit, Crucial Ballistics white RAM. It's nice. Crucial RAM's really good because they are a Micron company, so they manufacture all the parts of their RAM, I think. And they're just very reliable. Speaking of Crucial, it's crucial that you get an SSD with DRAM. So you don't want a DRAM-less SSD because they have worse reliability. So the Crucial MX500 is one of the cheapest SSDs to have a DRAM cache. On Autorama, it is $54. It's a 500 gig, 2.5-inch, so SATA SSD. You could go a little bit more expensive, maybe $10 more and get an M.2 NVMe drive, but this will be fine for now. It's a very popular option. You've probably seen this in other parts lists before, and setup guides and build guides and whatever. I'm sure you've seen it before. It's highly recommended by a lot of people. and it will be all the storage we have in the system. It should be enough for now. You might want to upgrade the storage down the line. As is the case with many of these parts, you might want to upgrade them down the line, but it's definitely a good starting option, and it'll be enough for now. For the graphics card, we all know how volatile that market is right now, but we're going to go with a used GTX 1060 on eBay. It's $130 on eBay you can get them for, so it's actually a decent deal. It's one of the only deals, so I'm going to go on eBay right now and show you guys this. If I search GTX 1060, and I sort by buy it now, and I sort by used, there we go. You can see here, there's actually one for 7180. This is actually a mining model, I believe, or a model that's commonly used for mining. The ones that look like this are usually like cards that are used for mining, so not sure I'd buy that. But this one, 8250, maybe. Definitely make sure you're getting the 6GB VRAM model, because 3GB just won't cut it. It won't cut it for a lot of the modern titles today. You've got this one here for 135. It is 3GB, but some of them here are more expensive, as you can see, but you can find some pretty cheap ones. There's a $200 one here, 170 here. This one says mining, but 170 here. You got some shipping too, but anyways, about 130, you can maybe get one. If you're unlucky, you might have to go up to like 160, 170 to get one. But yeah, use GTX 1060, not a bad option. The Cougar MX410 Mesh G RGB. This is a case that nobody knows about. It's $60. It has some shipping costs right now, so it's about 66, whatever. On Newegg currently. It's a great case. So it's kind of small. It can't fit super long GPUs. In that dimension, it's not very long, but it has RGB light bars. You can't really see this one because it's being obstructed by the side here. But you can see this one. It comes with 4 RGB fans. 4 RGB fans at this price. A tempered glass side panel and a mesh front panel. Think about that. And it's an ATX case too. ATX mid tower. That is crazy. Like, the case deals now are so good. Those Cooler Master MATX cases, like the MB311L, great. The MX410, great. There's some new Montech cases, really good value. So the case market right now is better than it's ever been. The Lian Li Landcool 215, great option. There are so many good options. But anyways, for the power supply, as this is a budget setup, we can't get anything too crazy, but we'll go with the EVGA BR 600 watt 80 plus bronze power supply. No modularity, no 80 plus gold or anything, but at least it's 80 plus bronze, the second lowest 80 plus certification. It's only about $48 on Amazon, currently on sale, and it has black cables, so that's actually really nice. You can see here, it has all black cables, and I wanted to make sure that we were getting black cables, but yeah. So generally speaking, the cheapest power supply I'd recommend is the Corsair CXM series for more of like a mid-range system, but this is a budget system, and the EVGA BR, it's at least from EVGA, and so EVGA is a very reputable company, great customer service. They're just always phenomenal. You can count on EVGA. This power supply in particular has a lot more wattage than you need, but that's a good thing. For the monitor, believe it or not, yes, you can get a high refresh rate monitor at this cheap price. So for $160, you can get the ViewSonic VX2458-C-MHD. Monitor names nowadays are unacceptable. I could make an entire video ranting about this. Maybe I'll do that. I don't know. It's about 24 inches. And of course, monitor dimensions, if you guys don't know, when it says 24 inches, that's from the corner to corner. So diagonal corners. That's not across. That's not up and down. That's, diagonal corners. So it's a 1080p monitor and it's 144 hertz. It's a VA panel. The response time, if I remember correctly, and don't quote me on this, I think it's 5 milliseconds. Or it was listed as 5 milliseconds. I'm not 100% sure if that's what it said, but response time advertising, it's always kind of weird because when you test it, it always varies. There's gray to gray, and then there's like ones that aren't really gray to gray that they can advertise, but so it's definitely not industry leading response time, but it is 144 hertz and it is a VA panel, so it'll have decent colors, only for $160. You can't really beat that at that price at the moment. You used to be able to get like $130 monitors that were 144 hertz from companies like Scepter, but those are not really available at the moment. So The G-Skill KM360. Oh my god, I can't recommend this keyboard enough. Currently $44 on Newegg. This is totally well suited to streamers because it has Cherry MX Red switches, which are nice and quiet. It's a decent looking design. It's a decent looking board. I'm not going to say it's the best looking ever, but it's very, very clean. It's wired. It has an aluminum top plate, I believe. That packaging is damn nice too. Anyways, I didn't even know the packaging looked like that. But the G-Skill KM360, it's a very nice board. Cherry MX Red switches, 10 keyless form factor, no RGB or no frills, nothing like that. But it's just a super solid budget keyboard. It is also the cheapest keyboard with Cherry MX switches, if I am correct. Or at least it's the cheapest like mass-produced one from a big company. The Logitech G203 LightSync features one of the most popular mouse shapes of all time. The G305/G203 shape is extremely popular with enthusiasts. It's about $27 right now. Sometimes you can find it for cheaper. I know my dad got it for my little half-brother and my stepmom for their homeschool computer, iMac. He doesn't do homeschooling, he does actual school, but he also does some education at home as well. And yeah, so it is wired, it is very cheap, it's got nice RGB, 6 buttons, it has an ambidextrous design, like an ambidextrous shape, but it doesn't have those 2 side buttons on the right, so it's like fake ambidextrous. It's weird, but it's really nice looking, as you can see here. I know I have reviewed this mouse, and it's a good mouse. And then, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, my dad got it at Best Buy, on Best Buy's website, for $15, so it can go on sale for $15. Definitely be on the lookout. So every enthusiast knows, every tech junkie knows, that when it comes to audio, you shouldn't get a headset as a streamer, because headset mics are frankly bad. So it's always better to get a separate pair of headphones and a mic. Now, I decided to go with the classic Audio-Technica AT-HM 20X. These are actually used in some more like low budget studios, like for song recording. I mean, these are really, really popular. They're currently $44 on Amazon. They're usually $50, so not a bad price there. I think they're usually $50. They are over ear, I believe. Yeah. They're pretty nice looking. However, they are, as I said, wired. The reason I chose to go wired, and actually you could go Bluetooth at this price, but first of all, the motherboard that I chose does not have built-in Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. You'd have to go more expensive to get that. The Bluetooth USB adapters can be unreliable sometimes, although they are cheap. And the PCIe adapters, they just look ugly. So I think for a budget setup, you're really gonna want the best audio quality, and that's what you're getting here. Yes, it's wired. Yes, you'll want to upgrade in the future, but for now, I think you can probably deal with the cord if you're on a budget like this. For the webcam, I chose the Razer Kiyo over the Logitech C920S because it has a ring light. So if you are in a bad lighting setup, it has a built-in ring light. Sure, it's not the brightest or the biggest, but it will get you by. So if you don't have good lighting as it is, you don't need to get separate ring lights if you have the Razer Kiyo. Sure, you probably should, but again, this is like a starter setup, bare minimum. Sure, everyone wants like a DSLR mirrorless camera and a capture card, but those are really hard to get for any setup under like $2,000 or even frankly $3,000, especially because you want to prioritize the PC in a lot of cases. A lot of people want to prioritize the PC. If you're really taking streaming seriously, maybe you should prioritize the other stuff, but that's a story for a different video. So it can stream in 1080p 30 or 720p 60, which is perfectly fine to start out. It doesn't have beautiful colors like the Logitech StreamCam or the Razer Kiyo Pro, but again, we are on a budget here, so it is a good option. You mount it to the top of your monitor, and you can get to streaming plug-and-play experience. Now, I didn't choose to recommend EpocCam or iVCam or any other app where you can use your phone as a webcam, because yes, the camera's good, but there are some issues, such as battery, input lag, and sometimes it just randomly cuts out and stuff like that, and also you can't use your phone when you're using it as a webcam. So I really like the plug and play experience of a webcam, and that's why I decided to. So originally I had a Logitech C920S. I decided to sell it. Actually, I sold it to my stepdad. But I decided to sell it so he could use it for his dad or something, so his dad could use it. Anyways, I sold it, and I got iVCam, like the pro version of iVCam, on an old iPhone 6 that my dad was willing to give me, that he wasn't using anymore. And then I read more about it, and I decided I really like that plug-and-play experience, so I decided to get a Logitech StreamCam and give my dad that old iPhone back. So, you know, it works for some people for sure, but if you're running it, you're gonna want to charge your phone, right? But if you're charging your phone, you can't use it in wired mode. When you're using it with a wireless connection to your computer, EpocCam or iVCam, you've got that input lag, you've got cutting out, you've got stuttering, all that. So, moving on to the microphone. The Fifine K669B is a USB condenser microphone for $36 for the black version. This is a phenomenal option, guys. The Fifine K669B produces great sound quality that rivals the Blue Snowball Ice, which is $50. It's just a great starter microphone. Sure, it's USB and not XLR, and you know, sure, it's condenser, not dynamic, but you know, there are arguments whether condenser or dynamic is better. And for streaming, condenser is actually pretty good because it kind of cuts out on that background noise a little bit. Of course, maybe you could use, oh no, you can't use RTX voice. Well, apparently there's some like hack you can do to make it work on GTX cards. But anyways, I'm going off on a tangent. So the Fifine K669B, great microphone. I don't really want to say it's underrated, but a lot of enthusiasts don't know about it. And I think that's what makes my channel unique is I tackle these videos from a consumer perspective. Like, I'm not a tech enthusiast like Jay's 2 cents, who really focuses on the PC components and doesn't know what consumers are actually buying. Like, I know that the best-selling power supplies and stuff are like Thermaltake Smart, and I know like what people are actually buying, whereas they focus on more of the enthusiast stuff. So Fifine K669B is a very, very good selling mic on Amazon, and for good reason. Finally, the InnoGear heavy-duty microphone stand with mic, microphone windscreen, and dual-layered mic pop filter suspension boom scissor arm stands for Blue Yeti, Blue Spark, and other mic. Very clunky title. Maybe just give it a model number, you know, or not a number, but like give it its own model name. Don't call it that. It's pretty weird, but so it's a cheap $20 InnoGear stand. It comes with a windscreen and a pop filter, and it's only $20. You simply mount it to the side of your desk, and you can position your mic to, you know, extend in front of your face, or, you know, right below your mouth, right about here, and you don't have to use up any precious desk real estate. So it is great. Everyone should have a boom arm for sure. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. What's up, guys? I actually forgot to include a mouse pad, and now I'm budget constrained because we're at $1,007. So we're gonna choose the SteelSeries QCK standard size mouse pad. It's a $10 mouse pad. It's the best-selling mouse pad of all time, I'm pretty sure. It's a cloth mouse pad. It's actually pretty high quality, and it will probably last you a few years, despite being only $10. So that is definitely what I would choose there. Anyways, guys, I really hope you got something from this video. I'm Isaiah with FTW Tech, and yeah, see you guys.